Hey YouTube. So I'm out here doing a little sharpening this evening. Right now I'm sharpening a mini bodega. It's the Steelcraft series. Belongs to one of my subscribers. These are really nice knives. They are. My wife and kid are here. It's got cracked ice finish on the pocket clip. On the spine it's got a nice checker pattern, but on the inside even there's a cracked ice finish on the inside of the back spacer. All in all, this is a nice little knife. It's not exactly an actual bodega, but it is pretty smooth. Pretty smooth. So, and then I'm gonna do this one, which is actually a pretty interesting knife. This is a Corey Schumann knife that is, Corey Schumann is a South African knife maker. And this one is carbon fiber, but there's a lot of file work and stuff on this one. It's really pretty, and I'm thinking, judging by the weight and the way it feels, that's titanium. Titanium liners, backspacers, a little mother of pearl insert right there. Carbon fiber and Damascus steel. And this one is a flipper, but doesn't have a flipper tab. Flipper tab is right here. It's pretty smooth. Pretty smooth. I've never, it's got a unique design to it too. It's almost like a pistol grip. So I'm gonna sharpen this one, but that's not why we're here talking. I'm taking a break because the mini bodega took a little doing, and that one's gonna be a lot of work, so I'm taking a break in between the two. So what I've got is, enough of you asked, and some of you, pardon me, I'm sure saw the video of me and Elliot messing around, playing around up there at Ferrum Forge at the bar right across the parking lot. This was one of the last prototypes. This is one of the prototypes for the final version. There were several versions, and I've played with all of them, of the Falcon, the Massdrop Falcon. And so a few of you were asking some questions about, you know, if I could get one or give you some specs because you were kind of on the fence for buying one. This is the exact same knife that's going out. Now this one's not serialized, my hands are a little wet. But this is S35VN, the Massdrop. It's basically the same, except it doesn't have a serial number on it. If you guys saw Jim Skelton's review of this, his had a serial number on it. No serial number on this one because it's one of the first prototypes. The other ones, the finger choils, were a little bit smaller, and they just kept modifying the design a little bit. But so I know that Jim did a review on it. Basically not even a review, he kind of did this is, you know, the specs of the knife. So I'm not gonna get into the specs, but I will tell you is, just like he says, 6ALV titanium, titanium sculpted pocket clip. You can rotate this. One of the things you have to keep in mind is one of the screws for the pocket clip is longer than the frame screw that goes into the back spacer. So you will have to make sure that you get that screw in the right place, or you're not gonna be able to put the pocket clip on. Nice thumb choil here. It's got good jimping. And unlike most of the Ferrum Forge knives, or all of the Ferrum Forge knives, this has got a two-sided pivot. That is something that a lot of people don't like, Elliot's pivot. This is a very smooth knife. And WE does good work. I've sharpened a lot of WE knives. I own a WE knife. It is very uncommon to have any real problems in a WE knife that I've seen. I think I've sharpened 8 or 9 of the WE knives and never once seen an issue with any of them. They come sharp, they come well ground, they're always smooth. This is even smoother than my 601 because I believe that this runs on steel bearings as opposed to the ceramic bearings that my 601 runs on. And I did do a breakdown video of that. I'm not going to take this apart because this is Elliot's personal prototype. When you look in here, you'll notice that you cannot see the stop pin. The stop pin is enclosed. It is inside the little there's a semicircular half moon track that it rides in. So the stop pin's internal. Nice jimping on the flipper tab and on the back of the knife. It's nice. It's not too aggressive. Just about right. Nice finger choil so you can get up in it. It's really comfortable. So now you guys know I talk about how big my hands are. So this knife doesn't just disappear in my hand. And to tell you the truth, it's about the same size, if you want to know the truth. Maybe the blade's a little wider. It might have just about that much less right there of edge, of usable edge, than my NTAC. So you're looking at a knife that pretty much is about the same size EDC roll as a Ferrum Forge NTAC. So, it is really sculpted. It's well, the chamfers are all really smooth. All of this is really, really nice. And as you can see, Ferrum Forge design, Massdrop logo. We has not branded this at all. It's so smooth. So basically, give me just a second. There is a little lanyard hole here, like I said, sculpted pocket clip, and I'm usually not a fan of sculpted pocket clips, but this one, for this size knife, that narrow sculpted pocket clip that we uses, it's almost the same as the one on the 601. It doesn't have the cuts and things in it, like the additional ornateness they put on a 601. But yeah, all in all, I mean, it is really comfortable. And it is snappy. It's a nice, snappy knife. Now, it does have a steel insert, and that screw, now if you watch Jim Skelton's review, you will know that he had said that it had a Hoback rolling detent. And then he put in there the little disclaimer that it does not, he apologized for the confusion, it does not have a Hoback rolling detent. What that screw is that's the screw that retains your steel insert. And so that you guys know, if any of you guys don't know, what the steel insert does, when you have titanium on steel, the titanium has a tendency to gull or catch and stick to that metal, and it deforms. And as you flip that knife open and close and open and close and open and close, you are going to get that. You can see that this locks up fairly early. If I push on it a little bit, you can get a little bit, you'll see that it goes down a little bit. But when you have titanium on steel, what has a tendency to happen is that you get lock stick, and then as that titanium deforms, your lockup starts to walk progressively towards 100%. So this one is, I'd say it's at about maybe 20% lockup. So that steel insert allows it to deform less, and so you're going to have a longer life on that. Blade finish is really nice. I've done some cutting with it, not too much. It's not my knife. I am going to sharpen it before I send it back, because I have managed to dull it. I was cutting cardboard with it, and the finish holds up really well. So now, I've heard people and seen people online say that this knife looks like the WE 605. I'm going to post a picture so you can see, no, this is based on a Ferrum Forge design, and I will post a picture on there. It looks way more like the Ferrum Forge Fortis, which is a grail knife for me. I'd love to have one, but you can't touch one. Nobody ever puts them up on the secondary market. Way more like a Fortis than it does a 605. 605 is a little blunter, the blade's blader. It does have these jimping and have kind of a scalloped out area here. But other than that, this looks like a Fortis. I can tell you why it looks like a Fortis, because I'm up there all the time, but you just need to know it looks like a Fortis. It is the first Ferrum Forge designed knife I've seen that has an actual dedicated lanyard hole for you guys that like lanyards. It does have the finger flip aperture. Some people are like, what's it look like in reverse grip? It does sit pretty comfortably in reverse grip. Now, reverse grip is, you know, how many of us are actually going to be knife fighting? I don't think very many of us. So what does it feel like in reverse grip? Who really cares? There's a few knives that I have that I would want it to have reverse grip. Like my Microtech DOC. That is a knife that was designed solely with ill intentions in mind. And I carry it as a self-defense weapon, because it would fit that role very well. So that's about that on this. Really, S35VN, just like I said before about Wii's S35VN, it is really good. It took a lot of cardboard. I had some cardboard boxes. My daughter had a big box from her pogo stick that I cut down. I had some boxes from stuff that people had sent me. Like I said, I've got about 20 knives here at the house that I'm trying to get sharpened. So I had some cardboard boxes. I like to cut them down so they don't take up so much space in the trash can. So it took a lot of cardboard before this started getting dull, and I did strop this, and it pretty much came up, but there's a couple little areas in there where I can feel that it's just trying to go over. So I'm going to stop this here. In a second, I'm going to let you know. $124.95, I think, is that price right now for this order. That's going to be the half price for this drop. The full price of this knife will be $250. So if you guys are on the fence and thinking as to whether you want to do it, you're not going to find a better deal on this knife than the pre-order for the Massdrop, the initial. So right now, while that drop is active, I would recommend dropping in it. If I had the money to throw into a knife right now, I definitely would get one. But like I said in my video, why buy one when I can just borrow one and play with it for a couple days? I've got so many knives, I don't need another one. It probably wouldn't get carried very often. I forced myself. I've carried this since Friday, since Elliot let me borrow it. And I'm probably going to carry it till Friday when I go back up. And I may have some more on it. So it's been Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and then all day today. There's no stick. It is really smooth. Yeah, like I said, well-designed knife, of course, and well executed by Wii Knives. Wii Knives has really set themselves out apart, and they're starting to break that stigma. Even knife guys that are like, oh, American-made knives, even some of those guys are starting to realize that Wii Knives and Reat and Kaiser are reputable companies. They're not making trash that you would get at a gas station for 10 bucks, the made in China knives. So, and they're not too bad about not over branding things. The only reason that Massdrop logo is on there is because Massdrop wanted a logo on there. That's why it's on there. So that's it. I want to go grab something. I'm gonna let you guys look at that knife I'm working on. I'm going to go get that right now, and we can talk about that for a little bit, because I am going to open that up for you guys. If anyone is interested, I'm gonna basically take some messages. You could email me about it, but I'm gonna go get it so we can look at it and let you know what my plan is for it. It still doesn't have handles, keep that in mind. All right, that's right, guys. This is what we're gonna talk about. This is, and yeah, I know that I got something on here when I did the finish, but the only part that's really going to have the finish is this area above the handles. That's all going to be covered by handles. I'm probably going to tape it off, scribe it off, and then put a line. So I did a black and copper two-tone. As you can see, I intentionally did a little bit of damage to the copper. And what I'm going to do is, this is going to get a hand tumble. I'm going to take some ceramic stones, and then I took off, because, you know, I needed it clean because I'm going to put the handles on. I think I'm going to leave it like this, just a Scotch-Brite finish on the spine, and then the copper, but I am going to distress the surface. So basically, this is my fixed blade knife that I've called the Hornet, and so that you guys know what my thought process was, as opposed to a K-bar, which is really big and heavy. I always thought that, you know, when we got issued one and we had, you know, people had them in the Cold Steel SRK, they were good knives, but they were just a little bit much. And so I thought that I would come up with something that I wanted that had features that I wanted in a fighting knife. You got this swell, so the handles don't have to be as thick. It's not going to be as heavy. The handles will be nice and thin. You've got this where you can get them forward, this little choil here, and it allows you and it allows you to sharpen. It's not a little choil either, it's fairly big. You've got finger grooves here. You've also got this area back here where you could, you know, get a hold of it back here and then have a little bit of length for a snap cut. Nice thumb ramp on the back to allow a reverse grip, because like I said, I designed it to be, it feels awkward because it doesn't have handles yet, but still, even like this, it's still fairly comfortable, and it allows you, you know, you've got some thumb ramp to have purchase on for some forceful. This will act to prevent you from sliding up and over. So yeah, it's pretty thick stock. It comes down to a fairly, it's pretty, got a pretty sharp tip on it. So yeah, what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you guys this, because I am going to let you guys try to get this knife. I don't have anyone set for this. This is the knife that I had started to make, and then the guy backed out of it, and then I was going to polish it, and it's 20 CV, so hard to polish. And I realized I was just going to spend so much time trying to polish it that it would just make it a waste of time. So yeah, from here to here, it's going to be black. This is going to still, like I said, Scotch-Brite finish on the back like it is. I like the little Scotch-Brite scratch pattern that you do when you do it on the corner of it. And then all this is waiting on is I've got to order the handle material, put the handles on, sharpen it after my sheath gets made. So the guy that makes my sheaths currently is doing the other one that's kind of polished for my friend Billy. And then I'm going to hand hone it, and whoever one of you guys, the 500 of you that are out there, get in touch with me. I'm thinking, I had set the base price on these at about $300. Because you got to remember, I might not be an established knife maker, but I've put a lot of work into these knives. Each one of these takes a couple weeks just to get to the point where I'm even ready to start refining and finishing up that edge. And it's straight, and then it tapers really nice. So yeah, anybody that's interested, let me know. I'd prefer text message or an email. And if you are interested, let me know, and we will work something out. I would even not be too opposed to maybe making a couple changes to the finish, as long as it's not too drastic. I kind of like the finish the way it is right now. So that's an option, maybe. But yeah, I'm pretty, ooh, sorry. I'm trying to get stuff moved around here. I'm pretty stuck at about the $300 mark for that knife. So let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a good evening. I've got some knives to sharpen. All right, guys, so here's the picture of the Falcon next to the Fortis. So you can see it's basically the same design. One thing I didn't mention is that this does not have any proprietary hardware, so you should have no problem if you decide you need to disassemble your knives.